What's going on, folks? It's Larry at Packmasters Dog Training here. Let's talk about fixing bad behaviors first, teaching obedience. Two very different things, okay? I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over with some of these videos because I've talked about this forever, for a very, very long time, but I'm still getting the same questions from folks that maybe just started watching my stuff or reading. And there's a very, very big difference, guys. Let me make it very clear, okay? In my opinion, at least what I do, obedience does not fix behavioral problems. It just doesn't, all right? So a large number of the dogs that I get at my place for behavioral problems, most of the dogs I get have behavioral problems. I get very few dogs that just people want to get them trained. And when I do, it's awesome. I love that. But I don't get a lot of those. So most of the dogs I get with behavioral problems have already been to at least one other trainer, at least. But a lot of them have been through a few trainers. And so when I talk to the people about how the issues were addressed, what was done with the previous trainer, whether they were done through board and trains or private sessions, it's always the same thing. Okay, well, we worked on sit and down, and my dog knows place. You know, we worked on a recall. That's great, guys, but it's not going to stop behavioral problems, period, plain and simple. The percentage, and, you know, it's just, like I said, my opinion, but what I always tell people is obedience is great, and it's necessary, absolutely. Definitely part of the equation, okay? Every dog we get, I train in obedience. We do all the basic stuff, the recall, the down, the sit, the place, you know, the leave it, the out. We do all that. That's important. But that's maybe 20% of the equation. Maybe 20%, if not less. And that stuff is easy. All dogs are going to learn all the basic obedience commands very easily. But that does not stop the bad behaviors. It doesn't. That's a completely different animal, guys. And that has to be addressed separately. All right? I had someone email me this morning that said, how do I know what level to set the e-collar on to address or to stop the aggression? You don't. You don't. I don't do that. Okay? I don't do that. If you want to do that, if someone else does that, so be it. I don't do it. I don't address aggression with the e-collar. I just don't. Let's put it this way. If you're doing something that any dog owner can do on their own, why are they paying you? They can do it themselves. So you'll see I use e-collars on all the aggression cases, but I do it like I do with every other dog, okay? We do the obedience. I condition the e-collar the same way. And later on, towards the back end of the training, then you could start addressing things and correcting things, okay? Let me give you an example. People like examples. Let's say I get a dog that's real dog reactive, okay? Let's not even say aggressive, because you know, most cases are just reactivity on the leash. So let's say I get a leash reactive dog. I don't address that. I don't go out and start looking for dogs and try to correct that behavior. I don't do that. That's not smart training, okay? That's not going to get the 100% foolproof, long-lasting results. It's just not going to. So what I do is I go through my normal training program. I do everything the same. We work on the obedience. I condition the e-collar. We do a lot of leash work. But the stuff we do in the home is where you're going to get your biggest bang for the buck. That's where you're going to be able to develop the behavior you want, okay, inside the home. Now, once we have that established, we have somewhat of a relationship, the obedience is getting better, and the e-collar is conditioned very well to where the dog understands it. All right, the example. Now, we go out for a walk now. It may be a week later. It might be a week and a half to 2 weeks later. It depends where the dog is at and what we're doing. Now, at that time, when we are going down, we go for a walk, and let's say the dog's working level is a 6. No distractions around the home. That's where we started conditioning at. That's his working level. Where a lot of you folks are making a mistake, even once the dog is conditioned properly, you go out with the e-collar set on a 6 and expect the dog to respond to it. It's not going to, guys. It's a whole different world when you're around real distractions. And that's why you have to start adding distractions and distance to your training. But back to the example, we go for a walk. Here's the reactive dog on a leash to dogs normally. We're walking. I have the e-collar not on his working level 6. Let's say I'm on a 15 or a 20, which is still pretty low, guys. People are going to say, oh, that's more than double. It's still low. That's not going to hurt anyone or anything, okay? But let's say it's on a 20, okay? Now we go for a walk. We see a dog coming, and that dog's ears perk up, and he looks at that dog. Boom, one little tap. One little tap on that e-collar is going to redirect him very quickly, snap him out of that, and he gets it. See, now he understands it. Not a problem. And if you had to go much higher than that to snap him out of it, that's okay, because at this point, the dog understands the meaning of the e-collar. He gets it. So you don't have to feel bad or hesitant using it at this point, okay? But I'm addressing that before the reactivity happens. And from there on, they learn very quickly. That behavior goes away. Very, very simple, guys. But where you're making the mistake is like the email I got this morning. They put an e-collar on the dog. There's no training, and they're addressing the aggression. Not going to happen, guys. It's temporary. Believe me when I tell you. I've seen it more than 100 times over many, many years. It's temporary. It's not going to work. So again, obedience is necessary, but it's a small part of the equation, guys. There's much more to it. And until you start understanding dog behavior and how to deal with that, it's not going to help you. It's not going to get you through the tough cases where you're fixing, you're fixing the problems. It's not going to work. You're teaching something, the obedience. That's great. We need it. But you're not learning how to stop the unwanted behaviors. And it's important that we stop the unwanted behaviors. That's what people are paying us for, okay? Plain and simple. All right, folks. Hope that helps. Thanks.